Now, it's very likely you've heard of Tim Ferriss. He's the author of The 4-Hour Workweek, an amazing book he wrote in 2007, I believe. When I read that book, that completely changed my life. Within that month is when I asked my boss to work remote. It's one of the best books ever. In fact, in the bonus section of this Discord group, you can have an absolutely free gander at all the notes I've taken of all the books I've read. There's over 30 titles in there of all business and nonfiction self-help books. The 4-Hour Workweek is in there. Anyways, in that book, Tim Ferriss talks about this one trick you can do to successfully get remote work, right? It worked in 2007. It worked for me in 2020. It's going to work for you. So this is your percent of productivity, of how productive you are as an employee, right? And this is time. Most people tend to be around here, right? Above 80%. They don't want to get fired. They're producing a little bit, but they're right here, right? This actually only works if you're in good standing at your company, by the way. So you got to be producing, right? Somewhere around there. All right, so you start working with us. We're going to gather all that market research, all the industry research, and you're still going to be producing, right? You're going to be here. Now, we're going to get those case studies. We're going to get everything built, right? And about 2 to 4 weeks, I prefer to do it 4 weeks before your main pitch, I want you to lower your productivity. Lower your productivity about 20%. Like, make it noticeable enough, but not really bad where you're like, oh my gosh, like you are costing us too much. 20% is about the magic number. You want to reduce your efficiency about 20%, right? What's going to happen is we're going to be creating the best faux pip in the world. Everything's going to be solid. So when you get approval, they are going to be remembering this version of you, right? This is too recent. And there won't be enough time for recency bias to kick in. They will remember this. So what happens now is you get the remote work agreement. So this is V1, like you were approved to work remote. This is when you start working with us at CNA, right? Well, technically you start working with us here, and this is when we say, all right, start slowing it down. So you get approved to work remote. Fantastic. What are you gonna do? You are going to take that newfound opportunity that you're no longer losing time commuting, you're no longer stressed about staying in an office, and your productivity is going to skyrocket, right? This is what you're going to show. It is not a 20% increase back to where you were. It's going to be a 40+% increase in productivity. You're going to be producing at 120% of what you typically did. So this difference here is what makes this powerful. This is what Tim Ferriss talks about. You want to reduce your productivity just so you can meet it and exceed it. So that is going to show direct evidence proof that, hey, remote work has helped me. Because even if you didn't take the dip, you still have a 20% increase. And you should, honestly. You're much happier. You're no longer in commuting. This is one of the best ways to show the impact of remote work on your output. It's basically going to give your boss the opposite of buyer's remorse. For instance, for some of you guys who bought something really high ticket, those first few minutes after you click send and purchase, you're a bit like remorseful. You're like, oh no, what have I done? Oh, that's a lot of money. I haven't gotten an email yet, or haven't gotten a download yet. Was that the right choice? That's buyer's remorse, right? So as soon as you pull the trigger on remote work, your boss is going to feel a little bit of buyer's remorse, maybe. This addresses that immediately. This is going to show them immediately, wow, Mateo's having such a productive week. These metrics are insane. The client's so happy. I've never seen him respond to all my pings so fast. That is going to show a not just a 20% increase, but rather a 40% increase. So that is the Tim Ferriss trick. It is super powerful if you use it right. Don't abuse it. If you go super low, that's only going to hurt you. You're not going to be in a position to ask for anything. 20% is a good amount, right? So how do you measure 20%? Look at all your deliverables, your click-through rate, your closes. Look at all the stuff that is actually measurable and reduce it 20%. But only reduce the metrics that you know you can explode later on. If you're already struggling with a certain metric, don't play with that. Play with the ones that you can play with. So that is the Tim Ferriss trick.